Money doesn't disappear, money is spent. The people who are spending with you are also broke. You are a group of people keeping each other poor in order to feel connected. When your income rises, your sense of what rises with it. The transformation mindset is not about asking, where does my money go, but understanding what you spend your money on. Money that is not deployed to invest in is losing value. Hi, my team just pointed to me that more than 50% of you who watch our videos are not yet subscribers. Please, would love to encourage you to subscribe. It is how YouTube recommends more of this video to a bigger audience and more people like you. So do us this favor by subscribing today. Thank you for that. I hope you've done that.
Mr. Mecca, welcome you to today's podcast.
Thank you.
Everyone around me says save, invest, invest, but I genuinely have nothing left at the end of the month after rent, food, transportation. So where do I even start?
Where do I even start? I think that's an interesting question again because, this is a level 1 problem, the psychological survival trap. It is the most honest question anyone can ask, particularly given the situation we have. The wealth building industry almost never talks about the person at this level. They assume you already have the margin. Unfortunately, you don't. And so here's my opinion. You cannot save your way to wealth from a survival income, but you can learn the mindset. Savings require surplus, which you barely have, you have little at this time, but you can develop the mindset of paying yourself first, regardless of how much you earn. So what you need as a matter of urgency is not more financial discipline. You need an income expansion, and that means extra skill learned and deployed. One extra income stream added to your portfolio or your streams of income, an extra hour monetized and producing cash for you. Even $5,000 or $10 extra a month constantly protected is rewiring your brain from scarcity to agency. And as your income increases, then the need for you to also increases what you put on savings, which can now also be deployed to investing, because money that is not deployed to investing is losing value. Wealth building starts from one decision made consistently, not one large amount saved at once.
I notice I spend more when I'm stressed or unhappy. Like I would just go buy something to feel better. Is that a money problem or an emotional problem?
Okay, I think it's both, and that's actually the most important thing you could have noticed about yourself. I said that because most people never do. What you're experiencing is what psychologists call emotional spending, and is directly linked to Maslow's third level rule or third level motivation, the need for belonging and love. When you feel empty, overlooked, stressed, or disconnected, our brain has a way of reaching out for the fastest dopamine available, the feel-good chemical. And that could be from association or from experience. So for a lot of us, that could be buying something. It could be a new pair of shoes, buying data, food, drinks with friends. It gives you an immediate sense of control and pleasure. Okay?
Yeah.
Then the money is gone and the feeling comes back again. The solution is not just to stop spending. The solution is to find what emotional needs that the purchase is actually meant or trying to meet, and find a cheaper way to meet it. And that could be a sense of community. You might be seeking for a sense of oneness, that you belong to something bigger than yourself. It could be rest, it could be exercise, or even recognition. Those are real currencies you are running low on. So the next time you feel the urge to spend impulsively, sit with yourself for 10 minutes and try to understand, what am I actually hungry for right now? Okay?
Yeah.
It might not necessarily be what you're spending on. It could be some need for belonging, or some need to maybe rest, or some need for recognition.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. So the next question is, my friends pressure me that if they're going out, I have to go with them,
Okay.
and if there's a wedding, they will not expect me to have to give a big envelope, and I can't say no without feeling like an outcast.
Okay.
So, how do I tend to handle this?
Peer pressure is real. Okay, the need to feel inclusive amongst the gang. Okay, you need to feel as co-partners to a shared tribe, right? And that is huge. This is a huge one, and that is the belonging trap, and it is brutal in communal cultures like like Nigeria, like we have it, Ghana, the Caribbeans. It doesn't matter. The societal pressure is real. The threat of exclusion is real. Your brain doesn't distinguish between financial pressure and societal exile. Both feel like danger, when you're not part of a clique. And you're not weak for feeling that way.
Yeah.
So let me reassure you that you are human. But here is actually what you have to eventually reckon with. Okay, because it's important you do. The people who are spending with you are also broke. You are a group of people keeping each other poor in order to feel connected. The move is not to abandon your community. It is to slowly, quietly redefine what loyalty means in your circle. You can love your people without funding your own poverty.
Yeah.
You get that?
Yes.
So you can show up at the wedding. You don't have to blow your rent, on the envelope so that you can be part of a tribe. The people who truly belong in your life will still be there after you say no to that one outing. Maybe you can try that and find out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the next question is, a friend of mine texted me, and I decided to throw this question. He says that I got a raise
Yeah.
6 months ago, and somehow I feel even more broke than before. So how is that possible?
Very possible, because I've been there at once. This is one of the cruelest and most well-documented phenomena in behavioral economics, and it's called the hedonic treadmill. And it means that as your income rises, your baseline or normal standard of living rises to match the pay rise. So you never actually get richer. That is why now let me tell you how it looks like. When that pay came rise, you suddenly realize that you needed a better apartment. So somehow the one room you are staying no longer fits your lifestyle. So you upgraded your phone, your wardrobe followed, and then your entertainment too. None of these were conscious decision. Your brain is updating the information of its perception of your new identity. So the rich doesn't escape this either. Their own version of their own spending just gets bigger. The only way to break the cycle is to make one conscious, deliberate decision. And that is, when income rises, freeze your lifestyle or redirect the increase into something meaningful. Before you adjust your spending upward, send that difference somewhere that you are sure you don't easily have access to it. And that could be a high yielding savings account. It could be an investment or a business expense. Every raise is a wealth opportunity disguised as a lifestyle opportunity.
Yeah.
So most people take the lifestyle.
So I'm afraid of investing, and I've
Okay.
seen people lose money in stocks. So somebody got scammed in crypto. A family friend lost the business. So is fear stopping me, or is this wisdom?
That's an incredibly intelligent question, and the answer it's both, but in different proportions than you think. Part of it is genuine wisdom, because your environment has shown you what real loss looks like, and your brain has correctly logged that as danger, which there's nothing wrong with. But there's a larger part of it which is psychological, and that is loss aversion. Because we feel losses about twice as powerful as we feel the equivalent gain. Okay, that asymmetry means your fear of losing 100,000 naira, feels more intense than the excitement of gaining 200,000 naira. Think about that. So even though the maths favors action, the people who got scammed in crypto were often not about investing. They were gambling on promises. Think about that. And looking forward to overnight wealth. But real investing is boring. It is slow, it is long term, and it is legal. So you can start by separating these two in your mind. Fear of scam is wisdom, but fear of financial growth is a cage. You don't need to trust the market. You just need to trust that boring, slow process, because eventually it does pay. So investing is a pathway to wealth, which is legit and working, and has worked for many. So your gullibility to scam is as a consequence upon your appetite for immediate gains, just to get rich quick. You want to blow overnight. I think that's just about that.
Okay, thank you very much. So then this next question says, I know what I should do.
Yeah.
Save, invest, be disciplined, but I can't seem to follow through.
Okay.
So I start and then I stop. So what is really wrong with me?
Well, I can say there's really nothing wrong with you. You are going through the natural phase of the human experience. What you're experiencing is the gap between intellectual knowledge and embodied behavior. That's right, like the way we put it. And it is the central problem of personal finance today. Most people struggle with this because knowing is not enough. Every smoker knows cigarettes are dangerous or is dangerous for their health. Every overspender knows they should save, but somehow they don't. Now, but I need you to understand something. Knowledge sits in your rational brain, but habits, impulses, emotions, they live in your survival brain. So biologically, they live in different parts of your brain, and the survival brain is older, faster, and louder. It's quicker. So the solution is not more knowledge, but more willpower. It is removing the decision entirely. Set up an automatic transfer the day your salary comes. That's what I do. So that when the salary comes, your brain doesn't know what happened. Before your emotional brain kicks in, your logical brain has already taken decision. So don't rely on discipline. Build a system that doesn't need it. That is how I have structured savings and investing. Willpower is always a finite resource. Automation is infinite. So remove the decision, and the decision can't be made wrong. I think that's about that.
People do say I come from a poor background. My parents were poor. Their parents were poor. So sometimes I wonder if wealth is just not for people like me. So is there such a thing as a poverty mindset?
Oh, absolutely. There's this common knowledge that, my parents were poor. I had no access, only ends at was 22 when you're done with university.
22.
Yeah, so when you take over your life, when you take over the steering of your life, that idea ceases to exist. So there's something as a poor mindset. It is real. And saying that is not an insult is one of the most compassionate truths in psychology, because scarcity thinking is inherited. When you grew up watching adults or your father panic at the end of the month, hide money under mattresses, distrust banks, and avoid talking about finance, you absorb all these into your nervous system as normal. You absorb all of them. Your brain builds a model of the world in which money is scarce, and dangerous and temporary and not meant for you, unfortunately. Okay, so that's the kind of the model you develop, and that model runs silently in the background of your financial decision that you make even as an adult. So changing it requires more than motivation. It requires deliberately replacing those inherited stories with new evidence. So what that could make for you is finding someone who came from where you were and from there has built something meaningful. Read about their stories. Let it crack the old model that you have in you, and let that model spark a new mindset or a new prosperity mindset. The poverty mindset is real, like I said, and it's almost breakable through reprogramming. And you can do it. You didn't choose your starting script, but you are the only one who can rewrite what you've been given and choose through your decision every day the script you want to continue to run. Because I've heard people say that the script or the behavior you might be manifesting at 35 might be a script written for you at 15 when you are in your teenage age. So the behavior you met or you saw around money could be from your parents, could be from your caregivers, largely has a way of determining in adulthood how you see money and your decisions around money.
Thank you, Dr. Emeka. I have this another question. I have a good job, but I'm terrified of losing it. So I never negotiated. I never asked for a raise. I never take risks with business ideas.
Yeah.
So how do I break out from this safety trap?
Now, let me be clear. What you are describing or what you just described is a level 2 scenario based on what Maslow gave us, the need for safety. And that's an operating on overdrive. And it makes complete sense if you have ever experienced financial collapse, maybe job loss, or watched someone you love lose everything. Your system, your body's nervous system learned this early that, stability equals survival. Risk equals, or that risk is catastrophic. And the problem is that at some point in your life, that same protection mechanism starts costing you more than it saves you. The safest thing you can do is to build options, because options give you leverage. Become the best at what you do by staying curious and on top of the game always. Then build multiple skill sets or systems that allows you to, continue to develop these options. Have a savings cushion, because the real risk isn't in trying. It isn't being so dependent on one thing that losing it costs or destroys everything. Security doesn't come from never taking risk. I must tell you, it comes from building enough assets that one bad outcome doesn't cost you everything.
So many people are asking, I have someone that asked me, and this is a question he asked, and I decided to share it with you. It says that I want to leave something for my children.
Okay.
And I want to build real generational wealth. So where do I actually begin? It's not theoretical or but a practical one.
Yeah.
From where
do you start
I
from?
am right now.
This is an interesting question, and this is a level 5 question, dwelling more on self-actualization. And at this level, you are not just thinking about this month anymore. You are thinking about legacy, what you leave behind. Generational wealth begins with one asset that outlives 1 month, one paycheck. It doesn't begin with the millions. It begins with a single decision to acquire something today that holds or grows in value over your lifetime. A real estate. It could be a unit trust, a small portfolio of shares, a skill so rare your children can inherit the business it builds. Because the single most powerful thing you can do right now is to separate your income into 3 streams, into 3 buckets. 1 for living in the moment, okay? Then 1 for protecting yourself against emergency. And finally 1 for ownership. And ownership is about something you buy that you don't consume. Even if the third, stream starts at 5% of your income now, start. Because wealth is not in the amount, it's in the mindset, it's in the thinking.
Yes.
And generational wealth doesn't start with a large investment. It starts with a permanent decision today to own something, however small, and to never sell it for lifestyle.
Yeah.
So financial literacy is a level 5 knowledge. You cannot think your way from level 2 to level 5. The work is psychological first, the mechanics second. That is the real reason most wealth advice fails. It hands you As someone who is in level 2, a level 5 solution, it might not work. Wherever you are on the pyramid right now, the next step is not a bigger number. It is a deeper understanding of which need that is quietly running or impacting your today's decision. And that awareness is what you need to set yourself up psychologically to building wealth and building a legacy. Thank you. Thank you for staying by and completing this video. But we have another video somewhere on the screen that will take you deeper into the knowledge that you want that will change your life. So click somewhere on the screen for the next video showing. You will love it. It is about your well-being and the psychology that you need to flourish. This is ULab, and we are here to make sure that your life gets better. Thank you. So click on it somewhere on the screen, and I'll see you there.